Recording in progress.
Watercooler. Watercooler.
Hey, welcome to Watercooler. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us once again for another week of some pretty amazing conversation, I think. You know how the show goes. I, Chris Loxamana, kick it with my cruel digital buds of yesteryear. With me today, all the way in Austin, Texas, it's Matt Fondelier.
Hey, brother.
Hello, Matt. And then all the way in
Hi.
Orange... Hey. Oh, Kalen, you better think of a new intro, buddy. And then all the way in Orange County, California, it's Gary Smith.
Howdy, partner.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, I'm actually, that really wasn't as good as I
Yeah, I like the sick version. The sick version, I think, was the gritty. Yeah.
Oh, Gary was sick. We're going to talk about this in a minute because we did a movie night with Sick Gary, and he has gained another 4 shades of color since last time I saw him, which is nice. And then all the way in Long Beach, California, like myself, it's Kalen Bean.
What's going on?
Hey, Kalen.
Hey, Chris.
All right. Gary. So last I saw you, we were doing movie night, which
Correct.
I mean, we did Rush Hour 2 for Movie Club on Patreon. It was a lovely time. We got to talk about that wonderful classic film. What really upset me the most was learning that Matt and Kalen don't know how to use chopsticks. And
that was
Not like I
disappointing.
haven't tried. All right, it's
Yeah.
not for a lack of trying. I
And
tried my entire life.
It's
Well,
not our fault.
disappointed-
It's an outdated eating utensil. Get with the
Outdated.
times,
I can
dude.
use it.
I would
I'm
say
just not
those have
good
been
at it.
around far longer than forks and spoons, so I wouldn't call them outdated. I would call them, long mainstays of
Yeah.
eatery. But
I'm
the
just
part
saying
that
you can't
disappointed me-
hand somebody something that's pokey and then tell them that they can't stab with it.
Okay, write that down. Herb.
This is coming from the guy who wanted infinite miso soup coming out of his pinky. Like,
You know, could have used it this past weekend when he was sick as a dog. One Gary Smith. That would have cheered you right up, pal.
I would say, Kalen or Chris, the part that disappointed me the most was not the fact that neither of them can use chopsticks, which is very disappointing, but it was the fact that Kalen's resolution is to basically do what they do for 4-year-olds and to have somebody produce a rubber band out of nowhere, which I don't know what world Kalen's living in. Where
does
you just
anybody
have rubber
here wear
bands
braces?
and then fold up the paper and turn it into basically, mechanical chopsticks, which
I don't do
work.
that. I don't do that. I was trying to help Matt out.
Okay, yeah, well, Matt does have.
I might steal
a
my
lot of-
kids' chopsticks every once in a while when we go
Matt
out.
does have a lot of eating habits that should be ascribed to a 4-year-old, so that does make sense. But yeah,
I'm actually
Chris, so
okay. I'm actually okay that Matt doesn't use chopsticks because his meal would take twice as long. And yeah, I think
It's already taking twice as long.
he'd have to declare residency at whatever restaurant that he was eating at that point. So for those who
So
haven't heard the movie club, Gary had to leave midway through.
yeah, let's back it up a little bit actually. So Thursday night was when we did the meetup, the Mall of Money meetup, which for anyone who doesn't know, those who subscribe at the highest tier on Patreon, the Mall of Money tier, and God, I don't even know if we could explain why it's called that at this point, but we do a meetup every month where everyone comes and hangs out on Zoom. It's not recorded, and we talk a little shit. We talk a little bit more freely, and we all hang out, and we have a cool group of people, and we have a fan who gives a shark fact every month, and it's a fun time. But
It was pretty spicy, this last one.
it was pretty spicy, this last one. I was letting shit fly. Everyone was. But backing up to that morning, I left for work, and everything was cool. It was a normal Thursday. I had an event the following night, so I took my tux that I was going to wear to that event with me, and I drove to the office, and everything was cool, no sweat. And then about an hour after I got there, my stomach started to feel a little off, like not, an emergency, not whatever, but just things weren't going great. And so I left work early, and I came home, and I told my wife that I wasn't feeling great. And I said, I'm just going to lay down in bed for like a couple hours before Watercooler. And she came in about an hour later and looked at me and goes, I'm texting the guys and I'm canceling Watercooler. And I said, no, we're already
would've
missing.
listened.
Yeah, we're already missing one guy. I'm not going to do that to them. Like, this is the meetup. This is movie club. It's tough to do these things with 3 people. And like, especially for the meetup, people pay for this. Like, we want as many guys there as possible. So no, I'm going to soldier on. So we did the meetup and it was great. And I only had to leave once to throw up. But then we rolled into movie night.
What was waiting for you in the bathroom when you did have to throw up? Remind everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And we rolled into the movie night, and I would say I made it through, what, 40% of it? Maybe 50%? I don't know. But eventually I tapped out. And you guys soldiered on. It was excellent. It was possibly the best movie night we've ever done after I left.
I will.
totally.
I do have something to admit. I tried talking about the grossest Chinese food for as much as I could, just to see how long Gary could hang on, and he hung on longer than I thought.
Yeah, I was trying, guys. I really was, because like, these things are only once a month, so I don't want to be the guy that's tapping out.
Yeah, and it's rush hour too. If it was,
and it's rush hour too. I wanted to get to the Jeremy Piven part. You guys, Kaylin highlighted the other big cameo in that one, which is Don Cheadle, and I think that one's funny to me because Don Cheadle did the same thing in the Iron Man franchise, where he basically steps into a role in the second movie that has been established in the first movie because there's some sort of a dispute with the actor who holds that role. And that's basically, I mean, it's a little different in this one because it's not like it was the exact same character, but Don Cheadle basically steps into a role that was played by somebody else in the first movie. And I thought that was a little interesting. But after I left you guys, I went and got into bed Thursday night about 8. And I did not leave until Sunday morning at about 11.
Wow.
And I did not cross the threshold of my bedroom. And every 6 or 8 hours, my wife would come in looking like one of the scientists in Outbreak, and she would give me like a saltine cracker and a Gatorade or a water. And I only make that joke because she later told me that a friend checked in on me through her and basically texted her directly and said, like, how's our guy doing? And she said, oh, you mean the Outbreak monkey that I go in once every 8 hours and give him a saltine cracker to?
Yeah.
So she hunkered down in my son's room, and they kind of.
Do you have a room in the hallway with like, psh, psh, like all the smoke to kind of like purify her before she comes in and out?
I mean, Matt, I got to be honest with you. Like, I treated the threshold of my bedroom as though it was an invisible wall, and that I could not penetrate. So I have no idea what the hell was going on in the rest of the house. But I would imagine.
Gary's in mime practice.
And rightfully so, because given how sick I was, I would not have wanted any part of that smoke either. But it was one of the worst sicknesses that I think I've ever been through in my entire life. And I would say the primary component of that was that, especially early, like the first 2 nights, every time I would fall asleep, which was all my body needed was sleep, so I was trying to sleep as much as possible, it was just ridiculous night terrors. So it was awfully painful and gross to be awake, but every time I would fall asleep, it was worse. It was like psychological and physical torture. And it was just absolutely bananas. And on Sunday, I got up and I was feeling a little better, and I tried to do some normal weekend stuff around the house, and about an hour into it, I felt like I had been doing physical labor all day. And I was just completely wiped. And I would say that I'm 75, 85% now, something like that. I'm coming back.
Was it Covey Wovey?
It was not. It was the Noro-Woro. I got the norovirus, which
I've never heard of that one. Jeez, I'm really
that one's most famous for taking down a cruise ship.
Oh
Wow.
Before
that sounds
COVID.
familiar.
Yeah. So Noro is it's a surface-based one, so it's not respiratory at all. So I never had a cough, I never had any phlegm, I never had any mucus, but it's a surface-based one that then attacks your tummy, and it then will come and their tummy wummy, and then it will come out whichever avenue you allow it. And I was lucky to.
Colorful.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I just that was as descriptive as I was going to be. I was very lucky to early the first morning get a teledoc in, and my wife graciously went to the pharmacy and got me something called Zofran, which is really good at keeping your stomach, keeping you from throwing up. So that really helped me. But yeah, it was absolutely awful. So I'm really sorry I abandoned you guys, but as it turned out, I was trying to be a hero way too hard, and I should have just never been there for the meetup or the movie club or anything, because I was a mess. So thank you guys for holding down the fort. Well, I'm happy to be back.
I'm glad you're feeling better and you're sounding a lot better. To be honest, maybe it's just because I don't pay that much attention to you. I didn't really notice till like the third time you left. I'm like, oh, I think Gary's sick. And then you're like, oh, so you're holding it together pretty well.
Thanks. Yeah, I thought I was doing okay during the meetup, but then I listened back to the movie club as I was posting it. And by the way, apologies to everyone that the movie club, I know it was posted technically in February. I was physically incapable of posting it until the day it got posted. I could not, aside from the fact that I wasn't allowed to go to the room where my computer was, I couldn't see straight. I couldn't think.
Yeah.
I was such a mental idiot for a few days there. So
it's all
sorry
good.
It went up a little late, but
I'm
when I
sure
edited it, I listened.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
we'll
listened
figure out
back to the
something.
end, and I was pretty rough towards the end there.
You were fine. I'm sure we'll figure out some way for you to make it up to everybody, because we should, because it's unacceptable. But I'm glad you're feeling great. And yeah, I mean, you're missed. If there's anything, look, maybe we give people a taste of movie club. If there's anything you want to talk about Rush Hour 2 that you thought we failed to mention, or if you have any thoughts, I mean, the floor is yours. You know, obviously we went in depth about that wonderful sequel.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, off the top of my head, the Cheetle thing I wanted to bring up, I already did, and the Piven, you know, obviously, I love that Piven cameo, but I thought you guys covered it expertly. I thought it was great.
Did you watch the Grammys?
Yes, I did actually. First time I've watched the whole Grammys in a while.
I know, because you used to go. Like, that used to be your dad's firm that did the accounting.
That's what I was supposed to be going to. The couple nights before was the Grammy Person of the Year dinner.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Well, a couple things. First off, Billie Eilish on the red carpet. A lot of people compared her look to Don Cheadle in Rush Hour 2, and man, that meme just hit so hard for me, because I was like, I just saw this, and that is fantastic.
It was great.
Do yourself a flavor. Go check out Billie Eilish's red carpet look, and it is Don Cheadle from Rush Hour 2.
And while you're at it, go ahead and type in Willow Smith, because...
Okay.
Or Jaden Smith, rather.
I mean,
Jaden Smith.
Jaden's, well, both of them.
Both of them, but Jaden is more.
But Jaden's the one who literally wore a house on his head. I'm sure you've seen it, Matt, right?
I have seen that, and I've seen a meme of Will Smith saying, like, keep my son's house off his fucking head or something like that. It's like an exact reference to the Oscar thing. It's fucking glorious.
Yeah, unbelievable that Will Smith is back in the mix like that, and just as if nothing happened, the way he's acting. Yeah, that, I mean, some incredible red carpet looks and lack thereof for some people too, as we've seen. But as far as the Grammys go, I was watching it and I just thought, I just feel older and older every time. Like these new artists, I'm watching with Jen, and I'm just looking like, look at this. What kind of music is this? Look at her. She's just shaking her butt on the screen.
Well, Chris, hold on. Now I got to stop you there, because I did feel, and I know I'm going to sound about 30 years older than I am, but I did feel that there was a disproportionate number of people who basically performed in underwear.
See,
was that just me?
Not only that, it was raining underwear for somebody, for Charlie XCX.
Charlie XCX, yeah.
Okay, was that the one that started where she's like in the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, so like someone was watching the Grammys out in the living room, and I walked out there and I was like, oh, this looks kind of entertaining. I think I'm gonna check this out. And then she started that song. She like got out the car and she started singing, and it sounded just like super auto tune and like fake. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. That was all I saw.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
I
I'm
feel like
done with
you
this.
would relate the most to this kind of stuff, Insomniac.
I did not like. Yeah, that's not Insomniac.
Yeah, but
How
I
dare
was.
you.
Insomniac's about the plural lifestyle.
Yeah.
We all know this.
I was just watching, and I just thought I was complaining, like, oh look, anybody could sing this way. Look, they're not really like singing, you know. I'm thinking of like Whitney Houston, or well, you know what I mean, like technically proficient. Like, I get they're good songwriters, or they're trying to evoke feeling, or it's their style.
The performance.
It's all fine. And then eventually I was like, I'm being unnecessarily harsh and critical about this, but either way, I enjoyed a lot of it. But yeah, I just realized, man, I am just an old man. I'm just
realizing too that you say that you don't like music by robots, and yet you don't like music by humans because it sounds like it's being performed by robots.
Maybe that's.
But the robots sound like they're human.
Maybe I just don't like music. I think that's what it's come down to. Is I just don't like music.
I will say, Chris, that one thing I did really like about the Grammys this year is the way they did the Best New Artist, the way they had their songs go back to back to back.
That is my
to back.
favorite thing.
That was absolutely the best thing they've done in 25 years. I mean, I could not love that more. It was done perfectly, and then they ended it with, and now a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with the Best New Artist Grammy. I mean, that is so much better than anything they have ever done, that like I will forgive the 7 things I could complain about over the course of the rest of the show. Like that one thing that they did fixed the telecast.
That was 1000% my favorite part of the show as well. So you're right. Like all the Best New Artists, they just did a whole montage of back to back after introducing them, and you're like, I want to hear them play, and then they just go.
But like and for anyone who didn't watch, like they didn't even stop down and have a person go, and now Shabuzi. It was just like Shabuzi's song would end, and then up would come Benson Boers or Benson Boone or whatever.
Shabuzi's a real artist, right?
It is
That
a
wasn't
real
just
artist.
like a funny sound you made. Okay,
Matt, you
No,
would hear
that's-
Shabuzi the most, I think, out of all of
Yeah,
us.
you know his song. He's someone pour me up
Tipsy.
another shot of whiskey. Yeah, that Tipsy, exactly. That's
Oh,
it's
there
a
you
very
go. Okay,
popular
yeah,
song.
yeah,
Matt.
yeah.
You've
It's
heard
like a great bar song. A good sing along.
Isn't it called a bar song?
It's called
it is.
Tipsy.
It's called Tipsy, and then in
Bars.
parentheses, a bar song.
Yeah, wonderful. So yeah, that was my favorite part. I did feel bad for. So what they did was they came back from commercial and had one of the Best New Artists just playing in from commercial, unintroduced.
Yep.
It was good. Their performance was good, but nobody really knew who they were. And then
Yeah, that part would have been one of my gripes. They, as much as I like the back to back to back, the playing straight in from a commercial with no intro whatsoever was a little.
and that was
I
one of
felt
the
it-
bands that was nominated. So it's just they were nominated, and then it goes to Trevor Noah. He introduces all the other Best New Artists, and then they do that montage. But you forget that first band that played in from commercial is also one of the bands. So they were just outcasted in the same block.
I would
and-
imagine that was a mistake of some sort, because that seriously did a disservice to that band.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sad. I mean, I hate to say it, but they weren't going to win anyway. But still, it wasn't.
No,
fair.
but you know how much money it's worth to have your name said out loud on the Grammy telecast, even if you don't win. Like
Yeah.
I could not, with a gun to my head, I couldn't tell you what that band was called, and I watched their performance.
Yeah.
dude, I'm downloading a Shabuzi song right now.
I
I hope
so.
it's Tipsy.
Dude, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, Matt. Speaking of, I know since we're getting into some heavy pop culture stuff, I mean the craziest sports trade in history.
Oh, now we're talking.
Here we go. Let's
Just
fucking
happened.
You guys
go,
didn't
baby.
get this out of your system. I didn't say anything
couldn't-
because we weren't recording.
I couldn't
thinking,
sleep that night.
Oh my god.
Didn't
I
get it
haven't
out of
been
our
able to
system.
stop paying attention to it, and I haven't even followed any of the NBA this year.
Wait, but so for those who don't know what we're talking about, because there are people that don't know, I'll let Matt explain it,
You fucking son of a bitch.
and then we'll.
All right, so
continue.
there's a basketball team here in Los Angeles. It's called the Los Angeles Lakers, and
And why are they called that?
because it was originally a team from like Minnesota or something that had a
Got
lot
it.
of
Nailed
lakes.
it. Nailed it.
I mean, 10 out of 10. You've killed it. Nothing else you say can be wrong.
All right, well, good. I should end it right there,
Nope,
shouldn't
nope. Matt, explain the trade.
I? There's I mean, you can't even get me started on how exciting this
Matt's
trade
gonna
is.
Get mad. I know. He's really gonna get fired up, Stephen A. style.
No, we got a good player now. Now Kalen's excited, and because of that, I'm excited. And I think
Have
that's
a good
all.
player now. Ouch, LeBron.
Well,
And now JD.
that's what the trade's all about, man. We
We
got to
don't
get the
like him
best.
All right. Now I will go as basic as possible with this trade because there are 3 teams that are involved and other pieces that were
Yeah.
involved. But it's basically Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic. Luka pretty much becoming the face of the NBA from the Dallas Mavericks. Thought he was going to be a Mav for life. Blockbuster trade came out of nowhere. Everyone thought it was a hoax when it happened because it's too unbelievable.
Well, we knew all the blockbusters were closing down.
I know.
So to
There's
hear
one
there was a
left.
blockbuster trade,
I think this is the one in Bend, Oregon, doing some work right
Wow.
now.
No, but like to Chris's point, every journalist had to like start their tweet with like, this is 100% real and has nothing to do with AI or April Fools. Like it was like in block letters, and then they would put the information about the trade. Like it was so unbelievable. The premise of it was so unbelievable that people had to give like huge caveats before they even delivered the news.
I heard like a
Journalism
basketball player being interviewed saying like, yeah, I lost $500 because I bet a couple people on the team that this wasn't a real trade.
Yeah,
like
that's
an
a
NBA player.
drop
He's
in
like,
the bucket.
I owe my teammates $500 now.
Now, Gary said that there were conspiracies involved.
Oh yeah,
I have one conspiracy that it's just off the top of my head.
lay it on me, baby.
Okay.
Do we
Let me
need
know
an
what you
intro
think of
here?
this. Let
'Cause-
me-
Yeah,
No,
play some
no.
News Nook, dude. Play some News Nook.
We don't need the news. This is just my
You
only
sure? Because I
thought,
got it right
because
here.
years ago, a trade similar to this almost happened with Chris Paul going to the Lakers, and then Commissioner David Stern blocking it, vetoing it, basically like saying this is too crazy. I will not.
It's
let
unfair.
This, I will not let this happen. It's
He
unfair.
basically stepped in and said that it is goes against the nature of the NBA and it's unfair
And
for
yeah.
the rest of the league.
And he stopped Chris Paul from becoming a Laker, and Chris Paul became a Clipper eventually.
Which, by the way, was some fucking bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this one did not. Adam Silver, the commissioner, now did not get involved, but he obviously knew. He had to have known something was going on. I mean, he has to know obviously what's going on with this league. My thought is, famously, right now the NBA has like the lowest ratings ever. Right, like it's in a long time, to where it's just tanking. Nobody cares about it anymore. Everyone's just jacking up threes. The competition isn't really that fun anymore. A lot of people, including myself, I haven't been watching that much either. I don't even know why.
Yeah.
Like
Me
the
either.
biggest thing in basketball right now is Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Respect all women. Ooh.
no, it's great. I'm not saying it's just
not,
unusual.
Not a negative. It's just that's true. The biggest basketball player in the world right now is a female.
So
Yeah, Chris put some stink on it, but I know what you're saying.
there's no stink on it.
You're like, can
Zero
you believe
stink.
the only basketball people, the only basketball
Like
player
that.
anyone's talking about is a
That's just-
female.
That's just
I
displacing his.
I just
fucking
want to set the
energy.
record straight. Respect all women, all athletes, really.
Of course. But as far as the NBA, what I'm saying is it's someone that's not in the NBA.
Or WNBA, who knows? Sorry.
honestly make you
I'm
explain
sorry.
something
I'm
again?
sorry.
Settle down over there.
My conspiracy, and it's broad, but it's just they needed a
You have a
shake
broad
up.
conspiracy?
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. Thank you, Gary. Thank you.
I mean, at some point I can't defend you forever, Chris.
There's your title, by the way.
No,
Chris titles these, so somehow
that is
I don't think
not
so.
the title of this episode. Chris loves Caitlin Clark is the title of this episode. But it is just like the NBA needed a shakeup. The NBA needed something to get people talking about the NBA again, and that's why I think they let this through and they let it happen in the way it did, because everybody has been talking about it. Kalen, it's like, I'm gonna watch the first game, even he's not even playing in it, and I'm gonna watch the first Laker game. Like,
Yeah, no, I would second that conspiracy theory. I mean, like you said, the NBA has been struggling. They've instituted the season tournament to try and get things a little more competitive. I heard Adam Silver the other day talking about bringing the time down from quarters from 12 minutes to 10 minutes. Not seriously, he's kind of floating the idea just so it's more exciting. And yeah,
I
this
think
has
that-
this not only has everybody, like, across all sports, people are saying this is the craziest trade that like anyone has ever seen, to the point where like there has to be something else going on. It like when you know who the people are, it is so unbelievable like that this went down.
Why? I know I'm
It
walking
would be
right
like-
into this.
So essentially,
Matt,
like, so
it
they're
would- the
fucking
guy-
rich athletes. Whoever gives to pay them the most, that's the team they're
No.
going to go to.
No,
No,
it would
he-
be
Get
like
it.
the Lakers trading Kobe to the Boston Celtics in the middle of like when Kobe was 27. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like
Like,
this
the
is
guy-
the best player in the league.
Yeah, the guy that we got is like arguably a top 3 player in the NBA, and he's only 25. Like he's not even hit his total prime yet. And the guy they traded him for is 31 and very injury prone. He's very good. He's probably the best two-way player in the league, but he's very injury prone and he's 31. So, like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's not even remotely a fair trade, and then they made it to a marquee team that has the biggest name in the sport. It just everything about it doesn't really line up. So, Chris, while I'm with you on your conspiracy that the NBA just needed something to go on, have you heard the conspiracies about the Dallas Mavericks specifically?
no.
So,
So
apparently,
you should say that Mark Cuban recently sold his majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks to this new family,
Let
the
me- speaking of-
Adelsons or something.
correct.
Speaking
Sheldon
of
Adelson.
speaking of steak, let me just put this in an analogy that Matt can understand, just so It's the rug getting pulled out from. Imagine
It better be about a steak.
Imagine you go to a steakhouse, Matt, and
Which one? Which one?
I don't know, one of
Ruth
the ones
Chris.
in Austin. Okay, and you get to sit at the chef's table, and they have you pick out your cut of meat, and you pick the tomahawk. You want it medium rare, and they say okay.
But you want it medium rare in 2 hours.
And they're
It's a tomahawk. It's gonna take a while.
yeah, and they're grilling it in front of you, and you're just watching this tomahawk get cooked. They're putting all the vegetables around it. They're building around it. Everything is all about this tomahawk for you. And
slowly making the whole
slow,
course better
they
and better.
flip it over. It's pretty much perfected. You're ready. You're ready for this thing to get on the plate
Fucking
and start
sign me
resting.
up. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
And then they put it on the plate and they run it back to the door to go deliver to you. When it comes through the door, it's Branzino.
It's
I mean,
not
it's
even
great.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
it's
like,
not the
what-
same.
What the hell is this? Like, yeah, sorry, just pulled the rug right out from under you. I know we were building around that steak and we wanted that steak to be that's what you thought you were
For
getting.
7
I
years.
see.
And out of nowhere.
And now
And
I'm
it's like,
left
what?
with a fucking Branzino.
With no explanation. You weren't expecting this Branzino. You weren't even the thought of Branzino was nowhere near your consciousness at that moment. And
All
then
right.
it just happened.
I'm on it. I'm here.
All right. Anyway, conspiracy.
So yeah, as Kalen said, the majority stake in the Mavericks was sold to the Adelson family, which is a big family in the gambling space. They own a bunch of casinos, and apparently the conspiracy theory is that the Adelsons, since they took over ownership, have been attempting to turn the Mavs like campus, like their arena and the surrounding area and all the businesses around there, into like a casino, for lack of a better term. And that's been being blocked, and there is a conspiracy that if the team is terrible, that they'll have an easier time getting that through, and or they can move the team to Las Vegas, where they will have a much easier time getting a casino facility surrounding the team built up, and that they basically are tanking their team because the league is not going to give them that allowance if they are in contention for titles, which Luka certainly put them in. And now that they don't have that and they have an aging AD, that this will be easier for them to get the casino deal done.
So this, what you're describing, is the exact plot of the movie Major League,
Correct.
starring Charlie Sheen, right?
Correct.
Where the owners have to tank the team to like get people to not go to the team, but then they end up being a hilarious team to watch, and so
Yeah.
it totally backfires.
And a wonderful movie.
That's right. Just
Wow.
a bit outside.
All right.
I blame Mark Cuban. This is all Mark Cuban's fault.
I love how everybody's revisiting that 2020 quote from Mark Cuban. He's like, I would divorce,
divorce my wife
before trading Luka. And
Like everyone loved Mark Cuban as an NBA owner. He was the favorite NBA owner. I mean, everyone loved Mark Cuban, and then why'd you do that? Now look what you've done.
yeah,
This
No.
wouldn't have happened if you hadn't went off and fucking sold what you did.
$3.1 billion is the answer to your
He's
question,
rich
my
enough.
friend.
He's rich enough. All right.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not sure that when you get up to where he's
And-
playing.
And well, you don't all know this, Matt, but Luka Doncic took that team to the finals last year. They lost, but they were in the championship game last year because of this guy. So Mark Cuban, it still would have been worth fucking $3.1 billion 2 years from now.
Well, and here's the other part that's a little bit kind of shitty for Luka is that apparently where the way the teams are structured, Luka's going to sign a new contract next year, and if he had signed that contract in Dallas, he would have made $365 million over the course of his contract. And the way the teams are structured with the Lakers, he can only sign for 240 something. So he's going to lose $110 million on his next
Yeah,
contract.
he's gonna make up a
Eligible.
lot of that on endorsements.
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
jerseys.
He'll be fine. I'm
gonna
just
do
saying it's a.
Oh,
He's
this
gonna
is kinda
become like the
shitty
new
for
face
Luka.
of the NBA. So
guys, I
yeah.
just got a text from Dawson. He's like, you guys better not be talking Luka trade without me. So we'll have to revisit this. Actually, I do want to get into that. So Dawson is not here. He's dealing with some family stuff right now. So we wish him the best. And if anybody wants to reach out to him, please do. He could probably use the love.
Yeah, just
So.
send him some positive vibes.
sure.
Dawson's going through it right now. So
Alrighty. So I do have another journal entry. We have a "This Is How You Remind Me," which I want to listen to as
Yeah, we
well.
definitely gotta do that.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do "This
Yeah.
Is How You Remind Me." So, one of my favorite news segments that we do on this show. We've recently unlocked the archives. They're now available. It used to just be you can only go back a few months. Now you can go back to day uno to hear this show, how this show began, the origin stories of this very podcast. And people have been doing it, and they've been going back and listening and sending us clips and time codes of things for Matt to cut. Of
Yeah, let's be clear, they're not sending the clips.
of things
that's
that they
my
want us
villain origin story, is coming up with this dog shit segment and then just letting Matt do all the work.
Oh, it's fine. I love it. I love the recommendations. People have been suggesting great stuff, and this week is no different.
It's fun going back and listening to it. So I'll play the intro, and then Matt can set up the clip.
This is how you remind me. This is how you remind me of the podcast we had. Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So this suggestion came to us from Kevin Garrett, and it is from an episode titled "The Kentucky Hug, Dog Training, and More Jurassic Park." It aired September 28th of 2019. And basically, it says here in this clip, Kalen / Insomniac give a casual plug that ends up becoming an important moment in water cooler history.
Let's hear it.
Peaky Blinders on Netflix. It's a pretty all right show. I'm mostly watching it because the new season is apparently so violent that it's making test audiences sick. So I'm getting ready for the new season. If you can understand what they're saying, it's a pretty good show.
What do you like getting that? Why do you like getting sick?
I don't like. Well, I don't get sick, but it's
You like
fun to
violence.
watch violent things. Yeah,
Is that Insomniac or Kalen speaking?
both.
Oh, okay. Peaky Blinders. Why did you laugh, Gary? I've never even heard of Peaky Blinders.
He described
Great
it
main
in his
actor.
initial plug as a pretty all right show.
Yeah.
Pretty all right.
I laughed at that too. I don't know. That's your plug?
It's a very
hey,
good.
guys,
This is the guy who
yeah.
rates everything.
Hey
on
guys,
this show.
want something thoroughly mediocre and hard to understand? Check out Peaky Blinders.
Pretty
It's
all
pretty
right.
right.
Season 3's
pretty
making
all right.
people sick.
Oh man, that
Wow. Pretty
There
all
you
right
go.
came about in 2019. I would have
I
said
thought it was
that
earlier
shit's been
than that.
around since
Yeah.
2010.
And I would never have remembered that it all started with a plug for Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Yeah,
A show that has never ever really come up ever since. But pretty all right.
because it's
Stuck around.
pretty,
Pretty
all
all
right.
right.
Yeah,
It is
it's pretty all
pretty all
right.
Yeah, Peaky Blind. Well,
It's
thank
not
you,
like
Kevin,
a
for
really
saying
good
that.
show, but it's not bad.
It's pretty all right.
And again,
But-
this is what we want people to say about our show. That's the joke, right?
People started saying that about us.
I'd
and
be
they
fine with that.
They still do. They'll still leave comments about things or the show and just say it's pretty all right. Which, I mean, I know what it means, which is nice and it's very beautiful. But I hate what other people might think about it. Like, oh yeah, it's pretty all right.
I don't know. It harkens me back to when we were about to go on stage at Lake Arrowhead and one of the guys backstage said break a leg and I told him to settle down.
Oh man, we really
You
should
cursed us.
listen to that show. Again.
No, I didn't. I was trying
No, I
to set
said he-
expectations. Oh, he cursed us. Yeah,
He cursed
maybe.
us.
That's all it takes. But thank you, Kevin, for sending that. That was an excellent clip. I'm so happy to have heard.
Please post them to our Facebook group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
post it in the Facebook group or if you want, or text Matt. I'll give you guys his number if you reach out to me and let him know what you want to hear. All right, let's see. We have some comments. I have you guys want to hear about my time at the club in Memphis?
Yes.
Okay, let's do some Bussin' Makes Me Feel Good.
Bussin' makes me feel good.
All right, and I am recounting my road trip with 15 other guys on a school bus that we took across the country. Last place I left off was talking about Memphis, and I left off saying that we were going to go to check out a club for college night.
That's right.
So I said, I really never go to clubs, but I was down. So we head over to Beale Street, which is like the rock and roll street. The place was cracking. I even drew like I don't know if you could see it. It's like a little puzzle piece of Kraken. Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
There were hundreds and hundreds of motorcycles lined up on the streets on display. It was way nar balls. Also,
Did you draw a picture of that too?
no balls drawn. Also, there were so many people out, and it was a Wednesday. This is crazy. After checking out a live band that played the blues, we head on over to the Plush Club for college night on Wednesdays.
I see this is all new to you, I think, at this age, that people party all the nights of the week.
Yeah, this is unusual. And
Now
by the
you
way,
know.
They spelled Wednesdays Wensdays on the sign. I even wrote that. So we dance, and it's
Now,
super.
Chris, I'm sorry. Are you guys all 21 at this point?
No, it's we are 18 to 20.
It's college night,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's college night. So,
so that they're 18 and over.
yeah, so we're allowed to go to a college night. We dance, and it's super fun. I get second place in the dance contest on the stage.
Whoa!
Trevor got first. So looks like
Oh,
yeah.
that's got to cut deep.
I, mean, I was just happy to have placed.
So,
I know what's coming up at the next golf tournament.
I know it was.
do you remember more about this dance competition? You guys walked into
do.
this place, and then you saw like dance contest tonight, and then you guys were like, "Let's all sign up."
Well, here's the thing. I love dancing. I love but the way I dance is usually pretty goofy. Like it's purposely goofy. It's not like I'm a great dancer by any means, but I like to get the party started. I like to just display some riz and just have fun out there. And I've been doing it since I was in high school. Like I would go to Mormon dances, and those are always really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I have so many more questions about that,
Yeah.
but
I was pretty tapped in to the Mormon culture.
wait,
in high school.
I'm going to ask a couple questions about that. Don't let me forget the main thrust of your story here. But so you went to Mormon dance clubs.
No, Mormon dances. So because I had a lot of friends that were Mormon, I was in a band where all the other band members were Mormon. We actually were called Came to Pass, which is like the first like few words of the Mormon Bible. I didn't
my
realize that
God.
till like way after.
Was it a religious band?
No, not at all. They were just a rock band. They were good, and then they asked me to join, so I said yes. I didn't. Anyway, great guys, loved them. So I was obviously just very into like I was just around the Mormon culture a lot because I would go to their houses and blah blah blah. And so they told
Door
me,
to
hey,
door.
we go to different countries for 2 years. So they said, hey, we're going to a dance. You want to come? And I said, what are you talking like there are these things called Mormon dances. Basically, it's for us to meet other Mormon people. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Did you just do that too? We totally did the same thing.
oh yeah, so okay, you get it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, I get it. I'm there.
So we would go, and it's like from all the different. I forget what the Mormon groups were
Temples.
called. No, not temples. I forget. I'll remember it eventually because it's part of the story. But it was so we would go, and it's like at a gym, at a high school gym, but all these different areas of Mormon, like all these different Mormon churches would come together so everyone can meet each other, and we would just be goofy the whole time because Mormons. I will say this. I don't know if it's the way that is breed the right word? It can't be, but
That's definitely not.
but it like very musically in tuned and great dancers typically. So
Okay.
yeah, just go in there. It's just like, man, everybody here knows how to dance, sing, and it's awesome. And so we would just have a goofy time and just try to be funny and just everyone would laugh. But then like a slow dance would come on, and I'd have I've been working the Riz a little bit.
Oh, always got
hearing-
someone lined up.
Yeah, maybe I'm hearing some Casey and JoJo or something, and
All my life.
yeah. Oh, I lock eyes with a lovely young girl. Pull each other closer together as we're. I mean, there's distance. I mean, it's a Mormon dance. You can't. We're not. She's not matching my freak, if I could say that. So, so we're at a distance, and we're just going side to side, and it's lovely. It's a lovely time. And then she, I still remember the word. I'm just gonna say like.
Is it Ward?
Ward. It's Ward. She goes, she's like, oh, so what ward are you from? And I look at her, oh, I'm not part of the LDS, Church of LDS. I'm just here with some friends. And her grip on me just gradually just weakens And she just starts walking backwards into the fog, like the Homer Simpson meme. And I'm just standing like, what? And I never saw her again.
Wow.
Never saw her again.
Just muttering, "Forever unclean, forever unclean."
Oh no! All right, so cut to 2006 or wherever your journals
Yeah.
are taking place, and we now
2006.
know you have a history and a love of dance.
Love of dance, and
We're at Plush Club.
we're at Plush
We're at-
Club.
which
I
is
will
having
say-
a dance contest.
It's having a dance. I will say this too: a lot of all the guys that we dance with, like a lot of the things we do is for shock value as well. When we dance with each other and dance around each other, so, like there's some moves that
We've
have
seen
gotten us
We've
kicked
seen
out
them.
of
We've
many
seen them.
places. We have
I've
gotten
watched
kicked out of
Mikey
many
do
places.
somersaults on the
audience
dance floor at cruises.
Yeah. Okay. So you
That's
guys
true.
know. So there. Yeah. So we have been doing this for a long time. We would go to Second Street in Long Beach with a boombox and just have dance parties on the street till
Oh,
the bars
buddy, it's
came
not
out.
it's not fucking confined to Long Beach. You did that on my bachelor
Yeah.
party in San
Oh
Diego.
yeah. You've seen it. You've seen it. So anyway, So we have
One
a good
night at my
time.
bachelor party, we were all sitting around drinking, and somebody said, "Oh, all the bars are letting out." Chris is like, "All right, well, let's all go down there and hang out." And then as we're leaving, I just see Chris grab a Bluetooth speaker, and I remember thinking, like, "The fuck does he need that for?" Chris was the star of the gas lamp.
He
About 20
was.
minutes later, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, see, it's a good time. People just like to dance, you know. Sometimes you just gotta get the party started. And we always were pretty good about that. So we take I got second place. Trevor got first. And I'm sure everybody was just having a good time anyway. So I wrote, Trevor got first. It was pretty random judging though, because I can't dance for shit. We then met up.
You're being modest.
I had to put that in there. We then meet up at these benches across the street from the club where these two homeless people were talking us and schmoozing their way into our hearts and our wallets. And then we sing happy birthday to Manny as he is welcomed into Club 20. Oh, so it's Manny's birthday. He turned 20. And then we head back to the bus where Matt waited because he didn't have an ID. Although,
to be clear, I wasn't friends with you back then. That's a different
sorry,
Matt.
Matt Edgar, comedian. He did have an adventure of his own where he went and stood atop the exact spot where MLK was shot. It was blocked off, but it's
Wow,
also
that's an adventure.
it was blocked off, but it's also Matt Edgar. Yeah, so there you go. We then go to our next destination, but I am very impressed and satisfied with Memphis. And then the highlights were I got my first shower in Memphis, first shower of the trip, not in life.
What day is this?
Wednesday.
No,
Oh,
I mean into the.
It's like day 3.
Wednesday was about the best answer I've ever heard.
That's good enough. Good enough.
God, Corolla would have just skewered me for that. It was day 3. He had a bit. Highlights for first shower of the trip. Reggie Price, that guy, the waiter who I talked about last week, who I wrote a quote that he said, "My wife told me to choose between her and this is our waiter from the restaurant who
No, I just wanted you to say my wife, like the right way.
Reggie Price's quote is, "My wife told me to choose between her and our dessert, and I got to be honest with you, I miss her." So that's how he
Good
sold. That's how he sold his dessert. Playing football, the manual pad, the plush club, big ass beer cups, guys singing "I'll Be Watching You" for karaoke. I saw a boob. I don't remember that at all. So that's pretty awesome. One boob. Edgar's solo mission. Memphis was awesome. So there you go. Memphis, love you. If any of the listeners are in Memphis, I love that town. It's at least back in 2006. So that was Bussin' Makes Me Feel Good. Let me see. Oh, and then the next passage we'll head over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Wow, you are so well traveled.
I know.
I never knew.
I'm like Johnny Appleseed without the apple seeds. Just Johnny.
You're Chris Apples. What are we talking
Oh,
about?
I am Chris Apples. Kaylin, you got to come over and get some of my navels.
Yeah, I
They're
gotta
the
I gotta
sweetest.
stop by there anyway. So maybe
Yeah,
I'll try and
I
find the
mean,
time.
mean to have you come over and pick some. All right. Well, that was Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good. I'm playing the outro because I got the control here.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
All righty. Well, that will do it for this episode. Why don't we go around, get our plugs in, and then we shall record our Patreon episode. And by the way, I mean, I know we never talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it now. If you want to sign up for our Patreon, go to patreon.com/watercooler. You get an extra episode a week, movie clubs, meetups, opportunities for meetups, opportunities to submit your plugs that we read instead of ours at the end of the show. It's a good time, and it's an excellent way to support this very podcast that you know and love. That you consider pretty all right.
And you also get these episodes ad free.
Oh, and thank you.
That
Kaylin.
I think
There
it
you
should
go.
definitely be part
Yeah.
of the pitch.
Yeah, you don't like those ads that you're hearing?
They suck.
Minus this.
I mean,
one
I
that
love
you're
our
hearing-
sponsors.
Minus this one that you're hearing right now. Yeah, our sponsors are. We do love our sponsors. Please support them. Then please check out the ad-free versions on Patreon as well. Okay, so why don't we go around the horn, get our plugs in, and then we'll GTFO. I'll start over there in Orange County. Gary Smith, what do you got?
I'm going to plug our Patreon, as previously mentioned, patreon.com/watercooler. I think ad-free should be very high on the list, because a good friend of mine, who you all know personally, came up to me at a birthday party that we were at and said, I've been listening to Watercooler. I get it, Malaysia Air. And I said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And he was like, you guys play like ads for Malaysia Air constantly. And I was like,
We do.
News to me, buddy. But I'll, if you sign up
Sign
for
up
Patreon,
for that
there,
Patreon.
you can get them ad free. And
That is wild.
he said, thank you. I do not need to pay to listen to my friends talk, but cool. And I said, fair enough, buddy.
Another happy supporter.
But yeah, so patreon.com/watercooler, and the aforementioned Facebook group, which we talked about. I'm not sure if we gave it out or not, but if you'd like to join that, the URL is facebook.com/group/Boboy Army Worldwide LLC. It is a very fun community. There are a few questions to get in, but basically just take a good shot at it. And if we can tell that you're not a bot, we're going to let you in. It's my favorite part, the only part of Facebook I interact with at all anymore. So go over there and check that out. And thank you guys, as always, for the support.
Yes, and it's interesting. We have Malaysia Air as a sponsor. We have listeners in Malaysia. I mean, just maybe we do a live
Are we
podcast.
the official podcast
Live
of
show.
Malaysia?
Maybe we go out there to Malaysia. Malaysia.
We
Let us
should
know.
talk to the staff at Malaysia Airlines and see if they'll just like have a channel that'll play our podcast like on a 24-hour streaming loop.
Obviously, people want to hear this. They want to hear. Malaysia wants to hear what we have to say. We have a demo now, and it's Malaysians. Malaysians? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should get that right. Given that they're
we should get
our
that right
biggest
before
group
we-
of fans, apparently.
I think our next live show, though, Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, let's do it.
Boom. I'm really excited for that food. Kaylin, you better learn how to use chopsticks.
I have no idea where Malaysia is. Like on
It's
a
in
map,
Asia.
there's no. I figured that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
you
could
have
not,
some
I could
idea.
not.
Yeah,
I
you're
could not
close.
pick it out on a map to save my life.
Just it's around there. All right, Matt. What about you?
I'm going to plug a globe. Kaylin, you should invest in one. No, I will say, I mentioned it last week, but I did story produce a couple episodes of a true crime show called Killer Relationship, and it is actually now pretty easily accessible if you have Peacock. It is season 3, episodes 4 and 12. Episode 4 is called Body in the Bayou, and episode 12 is called Lying in Plain Sight. I'll let you know in advance. Episode 4, it's pretty gnarly. It's a pretty gnarly story. Episode 12, I would say, is maybe a little bit more palatable for people who have not experienced a lot of true crime storytelling. It's a story that takes place in the 90s about a news anchor who gets murdered, but it's a little bit, it's an interesting story, but it's not going to gross you out as much as the other one would.
Episode 4 is the one that's Narnar Balls.
Yeah, that one's pretty narnar balls. Yeah, good call. Yeah, for sure. But I'd appreciate other people watching it because I worked really hard on it, along with a lot of other people.
I like that people are taking pictures of your credit too. I like. seeing that.
Yeah, that was cool. That's fun.
A little unfortunate what's behind the credit. but
I know. It's like this woman's like, it's a very emotional moment. She's like crying at the end. It's a weird like screenshot to have
You
like
can
a
see all
crying
4
woman.
of her chins.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Gary.
I mean, let's just be real. That's what it is. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go join our Facebook group because somebody posted it like a hero.
Caleb?
Yeah, just fooling about podcasts. Me and my dad's podcast. We got some really good interviews coming up in the next 3 weeks that I'm excited about recording. So yeah, go subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, follow on Instagram. Just fooling about everywhere, and I appreciate the support.
All right, just fooling about. And then as for me, I am playing a Marina Wine on February 7th. That's this Friday in Long Beach. So come out 7 to 10. And then at Perks in Huntington Beach, February 28th, the last day of February. That's a Friday night as well from like 8 to midnight or something. So we're going to go hard. So come on out and maybe we'll play Shabuzi or something. All right, that will do it for this episode of Watercooler. We'll be back for Patreon later this week. We love you. Goodbye.